and transparency. So you can refer even to the parliamentary Hansard. It was our requirement that the Mineral Income Investment Fund and its creation known as AJAPA reports to Parliament so that we can hold them accountable. Our specific concerns on the offshore entity known as AJAPA royalties. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the incorporation of AJAPA as an offshore company, JC, in the Channel Island, a tax haven is worrying. The tax havens are generally known for their lack of transparency in matters of corporate governance. So you should be questioning government why they were interested in registering AJAPA in a tax haven. Tax havens are susceptible to money laundering and thus elevate the risk of Ghana being listed as a money laundering jurisdiction, as already observed by the European Union, who are attempting to blacklist Ghana come the 1st of October as a major money laundering destination. You recall what I've already quoted the European Union on this matter. The OECD and the United Nations use evidence of these offshore deals to rate countries on the effectiveness of their anti-money laundering regimes, including laws, regulations, policies, and other government actions. And you see, even in the AJAPA agreement, they are saying that even if a new government comes, you shall have no power to change its chief executive. What about death? Force majeure. Maybe they didn't avert their minds to that. That we shall have no opportunity to change. We are also concerned that it was a major off-budget transaction. The deal is intended to monetize gold royalties to fund the budget and ought to have reflected in the budget statement tabled for approval and subsequently enacted in the Appropriation Act of 2020. So let anybody show me in the Appropriation Act of 2020, COVID or no COVID, how Minister for Finance Ken Ofori-Atta reported to the people of Ghana that this is what he intends to do with gold revenue for the purpose of financing the budget. It was unreported, for the record.
So you heard the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu. In fact, he said a lot. We'll delve into them. But I just want to, before I start with you, Caleb, I just want to read something brief I captured on Ghana Web. And it's headlined, AJAPA royalties deal is a destiny changer for Africa. Gabi Otredaku boasts. And then the story basically talks about him in a conversation with Paul Adumotri and suggests that it is the best Ghana can talk about. And we all know on record that his law firm has taken $2 million already. And the 15 CSOs who spoke against this deal described it as state capture. For you as a political activist, somebody who has worked in government before, and who understands the way we all want to develop this country, is this government really deliberately pretending not to listen, or indeed just going ahead to do what pleases it to fill their pockets? Well, I think that, let me first of all thank the minority for their steadfastness on this whole AJAPA matter. My brother, listening to the minority view on this issue, and also listening to our CSOs like Imani and all those things, I realized that the AJAPA deal is really a scam. It is one of the most thinking, deal I have ever, read. I haven't been able to go through the whole agreement, but what I can say is that, you see, the rate at which MPP is going about the country's properties, let me put it that way, if we are not careful, one will get up and all of us will be told that they have even mortgaged the whole country to maybe a mere company outside there. Because they come to think about it, this AJAPA deal that we are all talking about, you have mortgaged already. We are aware you have mortgaged a road fund, you have mortgaged a get fund, you have also mortgaged even Exla. You have mortgaged our bauxite to Sino Hydro, and you are now coming to mortgage our royal, our gold royalties. But is it not a chicken and egg issue? Because the argument is that, look, we need money to develop Ghana. We need money to at least fast track infrastructure development. So if the money is sitting there and this is the collateral we can use, why would you want to cry foul?
My brother, in our local parlance, we say that it's not all food that you see you eat. There are some food, if you joke and you eat it, you may even die. If we want, resources to be able to fast-track our development paradigm, does not mean that you go into that kind of, fraudulent kind of deal. Because when you look at the whole deal, for me, it is like a family trying to grab or capture, the very strategic properties of this country. Because our mineral royalties our mineral royalty, we have been told, has been giving Ghana about $200 million a year. Now, and you are going for a deal. You are going to mortgage this whole royalty we have been getting $200 per year in perpetuity for only just a pittance of $500 million. Now, in doing so, you've decided to, form a company they themselves called a special vehicle,
special purpose vehicle.
A special purpose vehicle. As we speak today, we've been told that we don't even know who are the beneficiary company that has actually, behind that special vehicle, purpose vehicle company. As we have been told, even the president has not assented to the whole deal, which is in violation of Article 181 of our Constitution. And so what we are saying is that the Ejapa deal, as the minority has alluded to, should have been something that should have been discussed thoroughly. Look at how they actually, put it on the minority in parliament for just about 4 hours to peruse that kind of critical and a huge deal on behalf of Ghana. They should use only 4 hours to look at the whole deal and pass their comment and accept to it or not. But thankfully, I'm happy the minority stood on their stand and said, look, we cannot look at this kind of stinking deal and say that it should be something that should be passed. But be as it may be, as you know, they always do that. They use their numbers to pass the deal. And now it is now flying on the face of everybody in the whole country.
Just hold on a little. Prosper, I'll come to you, so just relax. Let me engage him a little more. How should any traditional authority, how should any Ghanaian react to this deal? Because for many, it may look a bit abstract. A Japa royalties deal, yes. Government claims it needs money for development. Minority is exposing an attempted state capture, like PDS. If I'm a traditional authority, either in Wa here or any of the parts of the country where the minerals are, and we know they are invested in the hands of perhaps the president on our behalf, how should we respond to this?
Yeah, our response to this fraudulent deal will be that they are sustaining us, because if we look at even all the mining companies that they are going to use for this particular mortgage, we are not told how the traditional authorities who own these mineral royalties, how much are they going to benefit? If we enter into this kind of bad deal afterwards, would they still be given their due as is in the Constitution they have been getting every year as we do? So that is where the concern of our people now comes in. Because it is something, if it had been well discussed, so that traditional authorities will come in, our civil society organization will be there, our politicians will also then say, well, if we mortgage these royalties, at the end of the day, this is what Ghana is going to get. This is what our people, the traditional authorities, will be getting to help the development of their communities. None of these things have been put in place. So you are going to a deal, you are buying a cat in a sack. What if you open it and it's a snake? What will you do with it? So that's why we are saying that I am adding my voice to the many calls, to the CEOs, to the traditional authorities who have said that government should withdraw this particular deal so that there should be, a discussion, a national discussion on it. Because from the minority view itself, it does not even meet best practice, best international practice. Because something that you are going to float on the stock exchange, you have not consulted the needed stakeholders that are supposed to know about it. So it is something for me. I think that our people should be much worried. But you see, the beneficiary of this whole deal say that it is one of the best deals ever in this country. If we were the one, wouldn't you say so? Because you are going to be the direct beneficiary. Gabi Ochiri-Dako, for instance, his company, that is his law firm, is a lawyer to this whole Japan or whatever Asasi deal that we are all looking at. So why would you not say so? Osafo Mafo's son is part of the board members. If you look at it, it's like a family thing. PDS, same. They wanted to actually travel with us. But for the vigilance of the minority in parliament, PDS would have also come to be. But the vigilance of minority actually unraveled a lot of, hidden deals on PDLs. And it was withdrawn. Today you have come with Ejapa. And Ejapa is serious because largely the whole country, our major resources come from
oil
revenues and mineral revenues. Now you mortgage this 76-year-old man. The president is now 76, and you don't care about what happened, afterwards. You want to just empower only your family in perpetuity and go. So the whole Ghanaians, what are we going to do? So it is a bad deal, and I think every meaning Ghanaian, I am surprised that our religious authorities, our religious bodies, till now, have not yet raised their voice on this issue. I thought that I would have heard them speak up like they used to do during President Mills' time, during President Mahama's time. But all of them have gone, they have lost their voices. And so, my brother, the Ejapa deal is something that we must all wake up to discuss it. And we should force the government to withdraw it.
Kale Caesar is a Deputy Director of Research of the NDC, and he's supporting the position held by civil society organizations that this must be suspended. In fact, Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, says Ghanaians must demonstrate their anger if government decides to go ahead, and it's loaded. I believe you can draw your own conclusions. And I'm taking that from what I summarized in the response to the Japan royalties deal by Franklin Kujo to ask you this question. You go on the ground as a party communications officer, you engage the people. I have heard the former president say that the 2020 elections is a decider about the future of the youth, the ordinary Ghanaian. It is an election that will determine our fate. I'm interested. For you, when you go down there, will this, or is this already part of the conversation with the ordinary person to buy into the reason for the call on government to suspend it?
Well, let me quickly also add my voice to what my senior comrade has said in commending the minority leader and his team for staying up to task in defending the ordinary Ghanaian in this stinking deal. You see, it's just to say that this Ejapa royalties deal, or all the issues surrounding it, is just one of the litany of scandals that President Akufo-Addo and his litany of resource looting appointees.
Are your words not too harsh? What can you really refer to? Because I know you may talk about PDS and Ejapa.
Well, we are talking about a regime that we cannot be able to count the number of scandals that they have put in place to at least reap this nation's resources in arrears and in advance, keeping it for their unborn generations at the peril of the general public. I mean, it's painful. It's a slap on the face of Ghanaians who were told that President Akufo-Addo is impervious to corruption. He was painted as the man who is genuine, who is coming to use resources from within this country to develop the country. One who will not dip his hand into the state coffers. One who will run a lean government. One who will ensure that every dime is well accounted for. Only to be faced with some of these scandals, shrouded in secrecy, well cooked for his family, for his unborn children and grandchildren, at the peril of those of us who are still coming up. You see, it is the case of our fathers or grandfathers eating sour grapes for the children's teeth to be set on edge. And that is exactly what President Akufo-Addo's government is doing. So if he says that this election is a decider for the youth, I think that I agree with him on that score. For the fact that the youth should be able to see that President Akufo-Addo and his government has no vision for the future of this country. What concerns them is about themselves alone and their family members. So it is the onus now rests on the youth of this country to get up and salvage our future by voting out President Akufo-Addo. It is a protest vote this year, December 20. So it is a protest vote.
Let's stay with the Ejapa deal. The former Deputy Finance Minister, Kesila Toforson, who is also the ranking member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, addressed that news conference yesterday.
I was at a loss when I heard the Deputy Minister, the Honorable Charles Edubuahin, make a statement that the reason why government decided to incorporate a JAPA at Jersey is because of the avoidance of double taxation. I want to put on record that that cannot be true, and that can never be the case, because clearly Ghana has a double tax agreement with the United Kingdom, UK. And as such, if government of Ghana decided to have listed in mainland England or anywhere in the United Kingdom other than the tax haven, the Virgin Island, or Channel Island, the same tax exemption rules would have applied because of the tax double tax agreement that Ghana government has with the United Kingdom, dating back maybe 20 to 40 years ago. It's something that we have in place. But let me say that there are reasons why people list or incorporate in tax havens. One of such reasons include the fact that it is an area where there is very little corporate governance, and areas of transparency is something that people can take advantage of. Clearly, this administration is trying to hide beneficial owners of a JAPA and people that are ideally going to be the shareholders, and that is what has motivated them to list at the to actually incorporate at Jersey in the Channel Island. So that may be the case, and clearly the minority did that state it, because the areas of corporate governance is quite weak, and the fact that beneficial owners can hide in those places for the purposes of hiding their wealth. It is indeed susceptible to money laundering. I mean, if you list if you are to register companies there and people cannot actually trace the wealth of people, it is where people actually launder their money.
It was Casey Latoforson. He's a former deputy finance minister and currently the ranking member on the finance committee of parliament. Sorry for that slip. Now, these concerns are widespread. When you spoke, Caleb, you made reference to the fact that these are serious national issues. It is actually focusing on what the nation needs as a resource to benefit all. For if I want to break it down to how I want to make those watching us understand, spend the resource for the development of our country. You made reference to religious leaders who are quiet. Obviously, traditional leaders must be interested. At this stage, the NDC's reaction through the press conference shows desperation because the majority has carried its way. What do you think should be the way forward? Maybe 30 seconds because we have 5 minutes left.
Yeah, I think the way forward is that once the minority is crying foul so seriously and the people are not listening, and the various CSOs have also raised their voices, and still they are not, backing down, I think that the whole nation must stand up, especially the youth of this country, whose destiny is at stake, must rise up to the occasion. And so we understand the language that some of these people understand in this country. With these persuasions that the minority, the CEOs are doing, and yet they are not, backing down, the youth of this country must raise their voice.
Okay,
and
it's loaded.
Demonstration should do.
Let me also pay some respect to those who have been joining us through text. This one says, "Good morning, sir. FO. In fact, you have started doing what we expected you to do for us a very long time. Thanks so much for the great work you are doing, TVXYZ and Wizard TV. Please extend my warm greetings to the incoming President, John Mahama." And this one is coming from Jafet Kwesi Azim at Jasekan, OT region. This text message says, "Hi, the theft strategy the NPP are using is highly intellectual to the extent that you will be easily blinded if you are an expert. That's why they succeeded in fooling the good people of Ghana. Will you believe that when you call 112 for emergencies to access the ambulance, you'll be made to enjoy background music for 30 minutes? You have a phone as well. Try it." Emmanuel from Techiman. Your message is quite long. Please, if you can keep your messages short, I will have the opportunity to read many others. This one is from This one reads, hello, Mr. Ahianyo. Good morning to you and your panel members. Please, all the signals are very clear. NDC is coming to power. But we, the members, have to encourage and educate and inform our members to take the upcoming voter exhibition exercise very serious. Also, the JPA deal is a serious rip-off, and Ghanaian people must react. Please, how did the government arrive at the valuation of the 1 billion minerals? So long a text message. Let me read this one. This one says, good morning. My little advice to JDM is that wherever he goes, he should continue playing the deceive audio of Nanado, Yetisikaso. All the lies audio need to be played every day by Bismarck in Ashaiman. This one says, 2020 general election will show true Ghanaians, will really show how true Ghanaians are, and eradicating and seeing NDC being myopic, etc., etc. And it goes on. We can't forget the brutality of NDC government. This one says, look, good morning, and your panelists. I sincerely believe many Ghanaians agree that John Mahama will win the 2020 elections, even if MPP decides to give them everything. Now, this one is from Damongo Hudu from NDC Damongo. Unfortunately, this conversation would have been more exciting if we had to stretch it, because there are several issues. But Prosper, yeah. I deliberately reserved your last comment because for many watching us and following Wizard TV and TVXYZ, they know because of John Mahama, that is why we are here. And many people, again, would want to hear from you where he'll be visiting today. I want you to wrap up with that, and then we seal the program for this morning.
Well, today, the first stop of His Excellency will be at the One Nurse Palace to pay courtesy call on the Overlord of the Wala Traditional Council and his elders. His Excellency shall also visit the Yerena in Wahie, the Wali man. He will pay a visit to the artisans at the One Magazine. Then he will continue to pay a courtesy call on the Dormona in Wawes, the Wichauna in Wawes. Then he will continue to Poyentana, where he will have a whistle stop to address Party Faithful. Then to the Nadoli Kalio constituency, through Cherpong to Nadoli.
So I'll stop you there. For those watching us, bear with me. Our time is up. 8:30, the program ends. This has been the morning update. Follow us on Wizard TV, TVXYZ, Ago TV, and other affiliates, and you can catch the live updates. My name is Ahianyo, and thanks to everybody in Accra and Wa here in Upper West. Good morning.